building.
Happy
You know what
birthday.
I'm saying? Just spoke to her earlier. You know what I'm saying? Hey, aunties and grand, and hey, mom, if you in the chat, I got a new single dropping tonight. Is there a problem? Dropping at midnight. And y'all know right here on the Lovely Radio Show, you know what I'm saying? If you see me sweating and you see me glistening there and everything, you know it's summertime and I'm summertime fine. But I got me a great guest tonight. Y'all gonna enjoy this. The very first, he's the first of a few things. First West Coast, MC, first West Coast hip hop DJ, and a creator of famous LA Breakers. Won't you wait a minute? Let me just before you talk, Disco Daddy. You know what I'm saying? I always say this. I say this, okay? When you get an opportunity to, introduce yourself and tell the world who you are, what is your reply?
Disco Daddy, the father of West Coast hip hop.
Welcome to the Lovely Radio Show.
Thank you, Miss Toy.
Yes, and we go back, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We have a long history of supporting one another in our
Yes.
endeavors. And, I just want to welcome Disco Daddy to the show. You know what I'm saying? The Lovely Radio Show is our
Thank you for
platform.
having me.
You welcome, where we introduce y'all to people that you may know already, but we reintroduce you to what they have going on today.
Right on.
So
Right.
we gonna go back first, you know what I'm saying? In
Okay.
in the 70s, you know what I'm saying, when you started, can you paint us a picture of how hip hop was back then for you?
Okay. I'm gonna go back a little bit before hip hop, but the Soul Train. I'm a member of the original Soul Train gang. That's 73. I
Mm-hmm.
always tie Soul Train into hip hop because although it wasn't a hip hop show and Don
Yeah.
Cornelius had to be pulled screaming and hollering to get Curtis Blow and other people on the show in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
basically the creativity of that came out of the dancers on that show spread around the world. Every Saturday after the show, there'd be kids in
Girl,
front of the
yeah.
mirrors trying to do this and trying to do that. And so I look at hip hop as influencing the birth of what later became break dancing, pop locking, all these different. In fact, pop locking comes from the Soul Train dancer
Yep.
Don Campbell Lock. You see what I'm saying? His contribution to
Yes.
hip hop. So Soul Train is tied inexorably to hip
Yeah.
hop. So I consider that beginning of my career at 73 in hip hop the same as Kool Herc's playing the first DJ record in New York because he is the father of hip hop. He's recognized,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but that one little DJ created a worldwide culture. Okay, when you think about how phenomenal that is, okay,
Yes.
and going back to the 70s, just starting at that phenomenal thing there with what Kool Herc did. I came out here after the Air Force in 1972,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin was dancing on the show, and Thelma Davis Martin, who's the longest running dancer on the show, was a friend, her best friend. Came over to the house. I'm sleeping on the couch. My cousin from New York. We
Mm-hmm.
dance on Soul Train. You want to come? Hell yeah. 6 months after being in LA, I'm on Soul Train. Okay.
Okay.
Two weeks later, I'm at the Proud Bird restaurant in
Mm-hmm.
Inglewood at a party. And Pam Brown and Dick Griffey at that time used to go out into the community to parties and dances, and that's how they picked Soul Train dancers. There was no auditions except in the very early days.
Mm-hmm.
And they came up to me and said, "Would you like to be on Soul Train?" Not knowing or recognized I had been on there 2 weeks before with my cousin as a guest. There's only two
Mm.
ways to get on there, to be
Yeah.
chosen and as a guest. So
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I'm on Soul Train as a member of the Soul Train. I mean, this is
I love
incredible. 1973 to 74, that first year. When
it.
that
Mm-hmm.
happened, and I only would bring this story in before I get to the hip hop thing, because at that moment, when I was chosen, I said, God is showing you this is where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's certain things, I know you've had moments like that, Miss Toy, in your life where it just said, I'm on the right road. This
Yeah.
is the yellow brick road, not that detour over there on the side.
Exactly, because
Okay,
even
so
Soul Train, before I was even, in the music business, I was like, I gotta be on Soul Train. And one of my friends, Herb the entertainer, he has his own thing going on, and he was like, Miss Toy, you want to be on Soul Train? So I was on Soul Train before I was on Soul Train too. So
okay.
it's one of those things as an artist, you just feel blessed to be able to be a
Bless,
part of
yes, yes, because at that time, and that goes into the flavor of what the original question you asked me.
something.
Coming from that, I got a job as a DJ. I was going to LACC, studying radio broadcasting. Hip hop this is 74, 75. I was on Soul Train, but hip hop was flourishing in New York before records. This is before records. There's two periods of hip hop before records and After Records, or
Mm-hmm.
corporate. They call it corporate. But anyway, um, I was going to LACC, majoring in broadcasting, 1976. Driving past a club called the Showcase on Adams, and a guy named Gene Hardy owned it, and he had a sign hanging outside saying DJ wanted. Now, majoring
Mm-hmm.
in radio broadcasting, hip hop was flourishing in New York, but
Mm-hmm.
disco rules out here in 75, 76.
Yeah.
Okay, so the picture is different from the East Coast and West Coast at that period. Before records, they had the park jams and all that jumping off live in New York.
Right.
And you know
Right.
what I'm saying? So at some of your early formations, the Funky Four, plus one more, Fantastic
Mm-hmm.
Five, Disco
Yeah.
Brothers, all these people were blossoming during that era from 73 up to 79 before records in New York. In LA, it was disco. My name, Disco Daddy. When I went to the club, April 76, there was no hip hop. It was all R&B. Funk was competing against Donna Summers and the Bee Gees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, George
Mm-hmm.
Clinton could function. All right, I was a funk DJ. All right, and that's what the teenage. I made the Showcase the #1 teenage club, and that's another picture of what was going on in that period. LA had teenage nightclubs,
Mm-hmm.
9 to 6 in the morning. Parents would drop their kids off at the club and come back at 6 o'clock and pick them up. No alcohol, okay, but we had a bar for popcorn, hot dogs, and stuff like that, and it was embedded in the society. I mean, I was surprised that parents would 9 o'clock dropping their kids off, come at 5, 6:30, picking them up, but then they had their weekend. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The parents, right?
Exactly.
So I got fired from the Showcase after making it #1 because the owner wanted me to play more BGs, more play that funky music, white boy. I was a
Uh-huh.
black funk DJ, and there was a thread among DJs in the associations I belonged to that people like the Isley Brothers and the Whispers singing their hearts off for years. And along comes the white boy singing black. And he's
And
making
then
a
they want to
million
hear
dollars.
it. Yeah. They
Yeah,
want to hear
okay.
him over and over and over.
Exactly. So I refused, except for some of the really popular girls come up. Can you play Donna Summer hot stuff, please, or on the
Yeah.
radio? I mean, certain things I had to submit to, but he wanted it straight disco list. He fired me. But the
Mm-hmm.
security guard company and the guy that owned it named Brown, that was security for us, he was going to open up a club and call it the Car Wash on 91st and Wested. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, and the guards told him, if you're going to hire a club, man, you need Disco Daddy. He hired me. 6 months later, the Showcase closed. And it was the first instance, this is 77, July, that people found out, especially club owners, that if a DJ is extremely popular, wherever he goes, his
They gonna
crowd goes too.
yeah,
When the
yeah.
Showcase people found out Disco Daddy was no longer there and was at the workshop, this new place, everybody came down to the workshop. Workshop became #1 in 6 months. It became so popular. I had Miss Iris Gordy. I broke Rick James, uh, his first album there. I broke Miss Gordy. Iris Gordy called me up to their offices in Motown. I was just there to pick up records, and the promo man said somebody wanted to meet you. At that
Mm-hmm.
time, this is 1977. I had a job. 78. I had the job at Big Ben's, which is the biggest record store in California. I was the official DJ. I
Mm-hmm.
hosted all the in-stores at Shaka Khan, Phyllis Hyman, Rufus, all these different people at the store. Got to meet a lot of people in the industry. This set the base for what Disco Daddy was going to later do. And I was also the writer for the Scoop magazine. I did record reviews, 100,000 a week circulation. So
Mm-hmm.
between my nightclub and Big Ben's point of purchase and the articles I was able to write, I had more power at that
Yeah.
time than any radio personality in Los Angeles because could take a record and go 3 ways with it and then
Mm-hmm.
give the info back to the record companies, which they love, which kept the records, boxes of records coming to me. Okay,
Yeah.
so that set the stage. 77 Iris Gordy said, she called me up to the office and said, we're breaking a new group in, replace the Supremes, and they call High Energy. This is their single. Could you play it for us this Friday and let us know how it's going to do? So I said, okay, boom. It's my first time meeting her. I'm at the club playing some records, and the owner comes Friday night. He said, Disco, there's a lady outside in a limo with 5 girls. She said she's Iris Gordy. I said, oh, wow, let her in, man. It's their new record. So she came in, and they stayed and partied for 3 to 4 hours. The girls are from Pasadena. So
Mm.
before the record was even on the radio, they were able to hear it and see it in the most popular nightclub in California the night that it was released. Okay,
Mm.
so I got ever since then I was invited to all Motown releases and stuff. You've been to some of the things that I pulled together. You see the connections that I'm able to do if I want to. Okay, some of the people I've helped I've never called on because it's just that time. Anyway, okay, going from that, the Disco Daddy names started becoming popular. So 79, that's when the flavor hit LA with the release of Rapper's Delight. You know that as well as I do. Everybody on buses, subway, you ever go over your friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good, you hear?
I was about 6 years old when that came out. You know what I'm saying?
But you were singing it, wasn't you?
I sure was. I was singing Minnie Riperton and Shaka Khan before I could talk. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, that's what hit LA and started. I said to myself, I could do that. See, I had little rhymes I used to make up because I'm from New York and Frankie Crocker was my influence. When I moved out here, as far as I knew, DJs rhymed. They didn't rap,
Yeah.
we call it now, but they rhymed. Jocko, Frankie
Yeah.
Crocker, Eddie OJ, they all
And
had.
I was gonna say that too, because you know, being behind that mic, when you get the crowd hype at a certain point, you just get that microphone and you playing the music, and you like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
you know what I'm saying? And they look into you, crowd is looking to you. If I can bring up an interesting point, because I know you only got half an hour. I rapped for 2 years, and at Dinky Joints, I quit all 3 of my jobs. The girl I was going with, she thought I was crazy. But I said, I could do this. I'm going to get me a recording contract. Dinky Joints, quinceañeras, anniversary parties. But I did have friends I went to college with, Magic Mike, who, and Michael Mixon Moore. Without Michael Mixon Moore, there would be no Disco Daddy. Michael Mixon Moore and Magic Mike and I went to LACC. We were majoring in broadcasting. Magic Mike got a job as an intern at KGFJ under JB Stone, and Michael Mixon Moore spun off into mobile DJing for Stars, Red Fox, people like that. In 1980, Mike called me and said, I got a job at Al Jarreau's new thing called the Roof Garden. He made a song about anyone want to go dancing in the garden, anyone want to go dance up on the rooftop. It was a club for celebrities, and he was the DJ. He said, come on, all my DJ friends knew I had stopped DJing. Dr. D at the Speakeasy, Andre Caroline West, Tricky Rick at the Hobart Club. They all said, come on over and rap for a few minutes. I was the only rapper, and I would go into a club and I would turn it out. I went up there to Al Jarreau's club, the Roof Garden, rap, turned it out. Him and Susan, his wife, his white girl, they came up to me and said, we love this new rap music. And that was from hearing that from Al Jarreau, because he scats. Scatting is almost a cousin to rap. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of thing, using your voice.
Yeah. The chopping it up. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was the greatest compliment to me. And he offered me the job being the first paying job, a resident rapper at their club every night. And so every weekend rather. Then in 81, Michael Mixon Moore said, I'm doing Magic Johnson's 22nd birthday party at the Variety Arts Center downtown. Come on through, Mike. I came through. I wrote a rap called Shaking and Baking, because that's what Magic, when he's coming down the court, that's what we used to call it, Shaking and Baking. And I wish I had saved that, but I did the rap. Magic came in with Michael Johnson with a big glass bowl. I tell this story to everybody. This is the night I met Captain Rap, who would be my future partner. He was there also. A friend of his named Gold, who was a hustler, had invited him through. Anyway, Magic came and set the bowl. This is 1981. Set the bowl on the table. No bodyguards. Mike Johnson, they need no bodyguards. But anyway, that's the way people roll back then. He came in, set the bowl on. The ladies lined up all the way out the door, and each one would step up, put a piece of paper right there, put a piece of paper in the bowl, and then step on. All different races. At the end of the night, the bowl was full, and him and Mike, they took the bowl and they stepped. And I wondered now, how he gonna remember what Amber looked like when I had all the papers, unless they put a star or something like, I'm gonna call this one. You think what I'm saying? But that's the way they roll. And unfortunately, 10 years later, when I hear that Magic Johnson announced that he had AIDS, I know he wasn't gay. Okay, all right. So you could get it from a woman too. You see what I'm saying? All right.
Absolutely.
So that anyway, that I just mentioned that because Michael Mixon Moore, after I did that show, that rap, this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, that was dope." He said, "I rap a little bit." And he said, "I ain't never been a DJ or nothing." No. I said, "Well, what's your name?" He said, "Larry Glenn." I said, "Well, you know," and my thing, Miss Toy, I had just beat Ice-T, which I will go back to, and got this recording contract from Duffy Hooks. And
Mm-hmm.
this was a week later. I'm doing this show for Magic Johnson. All this happened in August 1981. Beating Ice-T, getting a recording contract because Duffy stepped up out the audience after I beat Ice-T. Yeah, he wasn't called Ice-T back then. His name was Trey, and offered me the recording contract. He said, "I was here last week. I wanted to see who win this week. We think you're good. We like to sign you as the first artist on the first Los Angeles rap label." I had been rapping for 2 years for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's just like my life's ever a movie. These are moments, another one of those moments that I said to myself, damn, in the movie, it's just would be great because my whole purpose of doing all these different shows at Dinky Joints and stuff was to get a recording contract. Didn't know how it would go or how it would turn out. Because
Mm-hmm.
at that time, again, this is part of the flavor, West Coast rap records were being cut, but they were not being played anywhere in the world on any radio station. You had to be, this is a moment in time, very few people remember unless you were there. You had to be from New York after records from 79 to 81. I broke that glass barrier, but from 79 to 81, if you weren't from New York, you could not pay a DJ to play your records. You just were not valid. You just were, you know what I'm saying? That's the way it was. So we were up against that when we went into the thing. But to get back, I told Larry, I said, come by the house, man. My thing was if I record the record was successful, I was gonna follow the model set by a couple of cats back there, where if you get a successful record, then you start a production company and you start signing rappers yourself to produce. So I said, I might as well start this now. So he came over to the house with a few other people. This brother pulled out some stuff that he had wrote. And I had already wrote this song. It was a dance called a Gigolo out. So I wrote a song called Gigolo Rap. And I listened to this brother and I said, damn, this is 3 years before there is a Run DMC. Okay. And I said, damn, I'm from a theater stage background. My family's in theater. And I know two people on a stage can work a stage, crisscrossing and doing all ladies like this one, ladies like that. You see what I'm saying? You go, so I don't have an ego. My whole thing, I got a recording contract. I want to have a hit record. I want it to be the strongest possible thing. And this brother can rap. So I said, man, I'm taking 2 verses out. You take this record home, you write 2 verses, you come back like that. And he came back, and what you hear him rap on Gigolo Rap is what he wrote. I wrote everything else, all the crossover lines, the exchanges, had all the party people things, all of that. The people in the studio were fantastic, but the engineer had never worked on a rap record. The musicians had never recorded a rap record. They were telling me, I can't do this, I can't loop that. You can't do that. It's too busy. You got all these party people. Excuse me. I want it just like that. So what you hear, and you see, read up in the corner of the left-hand side, and you see it says a Disco Daddy concept. I had Duffy put that up there so that no one will ever take credit. Some producers produce you, and they like to take credit that everything you hear in the record is there from them. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, when Larry was at my house and he came back, I said, okay, I'm gonna call Duffy and I'm gonna tell him to change it from Disco Daddy to Disco Daddy and Captain. Well, he hadn't chosen a name. I said, what you gonna call yourself? He said, well, I was in the Air Force and I'm an Air Force veteran too. I didn't know that. He said, well, I was around a lot of captains. I'm gonna call myself Captain Rap. So he thought up his name right there in my living room. Okay. And Duffy, when I called him, he said, Disco, you sure about this? We signed you. And they all knew what we were up against in the first place. They're not playing West Coast rap records. So we were all had a pipe dream that this is going to be on the radio. But everybody believed in me. You see what I'm saying? I had been doing this and I looked like I knew what I was doing. It sounded like I knew what I had never recorded a rap record either. But sometimes you got to act like you know. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you can make it there, the rest gonna happen.
Exactly. So I had a vision, and it came out. We were lucky, and this is where Magic Mike comes in. Magic Mike, before he went to KJLH with JB Stone, who made KGFJ #1, was an intern at KGFJ. I had been going up to KGFJ recording the commercials for the workshop. 1977. Let me show you how far back rap goes to LA. 1977, the first rap commercial on the radio. Hello out there, Disco Daddy here, reminding you that every Friday and Saturday you'll be taking a mighty soulful ride on that funky workshop camel. His name is Clyde. Now, Clyde has only one mission in life, and that's to make sure that you get to Soulville before sunrise. So come on, brother. I know you stepping strong, and you, sister, put your red dress on. If you're looking for some action and your feet ain't flat, said the Workshop Disco, babies, where it's at. That's the Workshop Disco, 91st Street and Western Avenue in LA. 1977. Disco Daddy on the radio. Okay. So this is what the flavor was. And that was before 1979 came along and I quit my jobs to rap. I came out here with the Frankie Crockett thing. You see what I'm saying? I was always rhyming, but they were always little short rhymes. They weren't raps. But that's why I quit my job when Rap is Light came out, because I said, I can do that. Okay.
Believing in yourself, that, you know, at the end of the day. And then for the record, to set the record straight, how vinyl is coming back, you know, the importance of you being a DJ and an artist is so valid of what we're talking about right now. And while we're here even today, it's like, you know, full circle for us, you know what I'm saying? Because right now people are actually, you know, they're requiring, you know, that, hey, if they want to buy something, they're like, hey, Miss Soy, do you have a vinyl to this? They asking for it right now.
Yes,
so back then you were getting vinyl from the labels, but when you ended up doing your own music, were you able to, you know, service some of the other DJs with your music?
Well, this is what happened. We didn't expect to get played on the air. We wished and hoped. But because Magic Mike, I had been coming up to KGFJ before JB Stone got hired as program director, everybody told him that's Disco Daddy from the workshop. You know, they advertised with us. And on record day, when I was sitting in there, I gave the record to JB Stone, and he listened to it. And 2 days later, Tyrone Boogie Nelson and Magic Mike called me at home and said, Disco, turn your radio on.
Whoa.
I'm not going to tell you what that moment is like. There's very few people that experience that. You know, major market, LA, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't no K-Day.
They said, you on the radio,
Duck. Right, you on the radio. Hundreds of thousands of people listening to you. It was all the 2 years you can see now that I put into that effort. And going on everything I could do. The Carolina West popped up this month of August, KGFJ, same station. Again, got to give KGFJ credit, although Greg Mack, who is my friend, did a hell of a thing with K-Day. Before K-Day, the flavor, as what you asked me about originally, was KGFJ, the station that goes back generations, okay? They played the first rap record in the world. The first radio station to play one in the world was KGFJ, JB Stone, and Tyrone Boogie Nelson. So once that happened, Duffy had no money to get records into the record stores. I'm on the radio, major market, the only rapper, people loving it, calling the station, and we can't buy the record.
Oh, Lord.
Because there's a lot of drama. It'll be in my book, Whatever Happened to Disco Daddy. Cletus Anderson.
Well, save some. Do you know what I'm saying? Give us some cliffhangers.
Cletus Anderson saved West Coast hip hop. Cletus Anderson owned VIP Records. I'm going to do an interview with him. That's somebody you should reach out to on Facebook too.
Absolutely. I've been up there before. I know him very well.
He gave Duffy $1,500 to get his first. Once the record started, it broke, and was out, to get it into the record shops. And then after, naturally, the sales took care of themselves as far as, So that, my record didn't make $1 million, but what it did do, it opened the door for every West Coast artist that came after me. You see what I'm saying? Because radio programmers started listening and said, wow, there's talent on the West Coast. And after me, they heard Toddy T's, then Ice T's, then Ice Cubes, then NWAs. You see what I'm saying? Right. So they started playing West Coast rap. And that's why, aside from later my creation of the LA Breakers, I'm known as the father of West Coast hip hop. Because at the time, I didn't know I was the first. There was no internet. I don't know what they were doing in the Bay Area. San
No.
Francisco. See, now I do because
You
I
were putting
been
in
in
that
such.
work. That's what
Right,
you was
right, right.
doing. You ain't had time to be thinking about if I'm the first doing that. You
I
was
was
getting to the
making
place.
babies and trying to make music at the same time, so I
And
had to make some
this is
money.
important too, guys. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to War Star Black that's in the chat and J
Mhm.
Pat the Juggernaut, one of my producers. It's one thing that you be everywhere every week and you're like, everybody just tired of seeing you. But if you're the person that's going to network and put things together and bridge gaps through things, and we need you to be everywhere that you was
Right,
at. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right.
we're happy that you were able to show up in certain places, even from moving from the East Coast. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, the West Coast is pretty much a puzzle, and you kind of figured out how to get into the limelight of it
I've
without
been
even having
blessed.
to go through anything.
I've been blessed, Miss Toy. A lot of some of the stuff that I've done is just happening to be at the right place at
Yeah,
the right time, but you have to have the talent to
yeah,
back up that moment, to take
and
advantage of that moment.
you have to have the ambition. You know what I mean? Because when you
Yes.
get there, you can actually freeze up because you see all these different things going on. When you get there, you got to just go for it. You know
You
what I'm
got to
saying?
go for
If
it.
you're gonna show up, you got to show out.
You
Like
got
this
to
guy.
be hungry. That's what it is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, quickly I'll go to, because I know your time is short, but I got into a bad recording contract because Duffy
Hmm.
sold the master. He wanted to expand the company, and he sold the master to Joey Jefferson, who was a slime ball. He used to own Jazz City Records. Okay,
Mm.
now, and I'm put it out there because he told me and Captain Rap we weren't going to sign with him because we had heard some bad things about him. He was producing blues records and stuff. He had a record shop over on Florence. And he
Hmm.
told us to our face, he said, if you don't sign with me, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to change the name of the group to Captain Crunch and the Funky Bunch.
What?
And yeah, first time. And we were on the verge of getting it on. So I signed with him, but Captain Rap said, I got a bad feeling. And it broke the group up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Then me and Captain Rap are doing a show up in Osco's, up in Hollywood. And this lady stands up. She said, wow, Disco Daddy, Captain Rap, your record's #1 in Jacksonville. I said, Jacksonville what? Jacksonville, Florida, record's #1. Joey had told us the record wasn't selling nowhere. And he had
Right.
boxes of records, a room with boxes of records. And we found out later he was putting them in the back of cars and going down to all kinds of cities in the South that had
Yeah.
small radio stations, but enough where you could unload 5,000 or 6,000 records in that
Yeah.
town. Okay,
Mm.
Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Kept us
Mm.
out of Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, where we would have made Billboard.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. That's.
'Cause LA wasn't enough to do it for us. So
Hmm.
that when that happened, that sort of depressed me, and we group broke up. Captain Rap moved to Colorado, and my lady supported me for a whole year because she believed in me. And I'm watching 1983. I'm on the
Hmm.
couch with her watching the New York City Breaking Lady at the time, watching New
Hmm.
York City Breakers dance with President Ronald Reagan at the White House.
Hmm.
I said to her, I said, "Wow, there ain't no LA Breakers." She said, "Oh, here we go again."
Right. She like, here you about to start this whole thing over.
Well, about to start all over. I went up to Hollywood and went to Hollywood and Vine and got some break dances. And I was working for Al Fan, who was my mentor as an actor. He had moved the studio out here from New York and
Uh-huh.
helping him. And he allowed me to use the dance studios. November 1983. I called every sneaker company, Converse, Adidas, Puma. Only Adidas called me back. Angelo Anastasio, the promotion man, he used to play for the Rangers with Pele, and
Mhm.
he was now the promotion man for Adidas. All he said was, "We've been looking for a group in LA. Again, at right place at the right time. Tell your guys that they're sponsored by Adidas." Hadn't even seen the group.
Right.
Hadn't even seen them. Okay, but he came to Inner City Culture Center and bought uniforms and stuff like that. Then McDonald's came on board. Inner City Culture Center, James Burke introduced me to Jack Kent, who was the official representative for McDonald's advertising agency. He said, "We've been looking for a group like this," because I had multiracial group of break dancers, and they were all pop lockers and break dancers. Tell your group that they're sponsored by McDonald's. Okay.
Huh.
Then K-Day called me. K-Day had just went 24/7 rap, and Greg Mack was hired. And
Yeah.
Ed, the general manager, he said, "This is where you come in, you and your guys. We want the LA Breakers to be the official breakdance company for 1580 K-Day." Bam. Then the LA Lakers called me, Jeannie Buss.
Mm.
We had made Newsweek. I forgot to mention. We made Newsweek cover story July 2nd, 1984.
Right.
So everybody, my phone was ringing every 10 minutes. Okay. From IBM, J.
Mhm.
Walker Thompson, companies that rented out IBM for us to perform just for their employees. That's how
Good.
big we got. Okay. So we were the only first group sponsored by multinational corporations. Jeannie Buss called me and she said, we're doing a party for my boyfriend, John McEnroe, the tennis star. And he had a
Mhm.
grudge match against Jimmy Connors coming up. And Jerry Buss just bought the Pig Fair Mansion. He said, we're going to have the party up there and we'd like the LA Breakers to perform. I said, sure, Miss Buss. She had just been hired just out of college. That's how far back me and Jeannie Buss go. She owns the Lakers now. So
Mhm.
anyway, Lon Rosin, who later became Magic Johnson's manager, was hired to promote this new concept called Showtime. And he
Mhm.
said, besides the party for John McEnroe, we're investing a lot into this new concept we call Showtime. We have a star, Magic Johnson, and we want Showtime to be exclusively identified with Laker basketball. That's where you guys come in. I heard that a lot. We want the LA Lakers, LA Breakers to be the
LA
official
Breakers.
breakdance company for the LA Lakers.
Dope.
Bam. All this
Mhm.
in 1984 in 1 month. Okay. I'm the official breakdance company for Adidas, McDonald's on the West Coast, the LA Breakers, the LA
Mhm.
Lakers,
Mhm.
and
LA
1580 K.
Breakers.
Right.
Yeah.
K-Day took us to all of their schools, the high schools, and that's how we started blowing up. We
Good.
headlined the show for K-Day at Magic Mountain, and our opening act
Right.
was this new group called uh, New Edition with this young cat named Bobby Brown singing Mr. Telephone Man. They were our opening act. Okay. And it was their first time in California. That was also the day I met Suge Knight. Suge Knight
Mhm.
was security for New Edition. And he looked nothing like he do now, but he had a long ponytail in the back. And he wasn't famous or nothing. I just knew, this is just our manager, Suge, because we also played basketball. Okay, I was on the K-Day All-Stars basketball team, the only non-employee on the K-Day basketball team because I was K-Day's official breakdance company manager. And we
Mhm.
played uh, celebrity games against New Edition for charity. Okay. So I got to know them as kids and got to know Suge Knight before he was Suge Knight. Okay,
Right.
there are a lot of people who's. You asked me, this all goes back to your question, what the flavor was like of early hip
Yeah.
hop. Some of the people who later
Oh,
became
you're
names and
doing
became
great.
big.
Just
Okay,
you're doing great. I love the history. You have people in the chat are just they're in awe of the history that you're spewing for the lovely radio show tonight. You know what I'm saying? And we're
okay,
live and direct. So, we got a little bit of time, you know what I'm saying? But I want you to feel comfortable telling your story and then get into where we are now so that we can put this up.
okay. Well, the LA Breakers blew up, and we made. I made a lot of money and made a lot of good friends. It actually did more for me than the record did. You see what I'm saying? Because the record, I just got to go back to one thing. Captain Rap and I were called to Motown. I had got permission, legal permission to use "Give It to Me, Baby" from Rick James. Because remember, I told you I broke Rick James in Los Angeles before he was on the
Hmm.
radio at my club. And
Hmm.
"Give It to Me, Baby" had been out 6 months. They rarely give permission to artists for a record as hot as that was. But I
Hmm.
had to do that because other rappers were emerging and I had to rap faster. I had met Little Richard at a recording session with Bob Dylan and his girlfriend Coco. Bob Dylan got all black, half black kids. He loved black women just like Robert De Niro.
Hmm.
And I was in the studio, and Little Richard came in, and they were sitting around talking. I was doing background vocals, and he said, what's the white guy? He got famous for copying Little Richard's records. Uh, he did this commercial. It was a motors. Pat Boone. Pat Boone
Pat
got
Boone.
famous
Pat,
for doing
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
covers of Little Richard's records, and he said when he would make $1 million on a record, he said so I had to. Pat Boone couldn't sing fast,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
had to sing fast, and that's why you
Mm,
hear he sing Tutti Frutti. Always he do this
exactly.
woo because
Yeah.
Pat Boone he could stop
They
had to
couldn't do
stop
that.
covering.
Yeah. That it was
So
me, Cadillac Records. I mean, I love all the movies that talk about the music business. Some kind of way, I'm always, in tune with some of this
I
stuff.
had to do the same thing. I had to do the same thing. Most of the rappers were rapping off rock, skate, roll, bounce, and good times. I used
Hmm.
to flip James as a DJ. I had a instrumental copy of "Give It to Me, Baby," and I
Yeah,
found out that I could do my the D and I and SEO and the DA, DDY. It fit right in. So
yeah,
that's why I started using that. But um, years later, when I look back on that period, music, black music has evolved from what we consider like the rap from back in the day, just 20 years ago. Now they're doing so much different types of things with it. I have no problems with what rap has evolved into because black music is one of the most creative uh, genres of music in the world. We're the only race of people, Black Americans, who have created what, five different types, distinct types of music, from ragtime to
yeah.
blues to doo wop to
Yes.
jazz to
So
hip
yeah,
hop. You see what I'm saying? And all
yeah.
stand alone validly, none cross into the other, although you can mix them up. We're the only race of people who've done that.
We're
Okay.
the only
And
race of people who've done that. That of course they've stolen everything from us. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell how successful we would have been on our own because they wouldn't have took the genres, each and every one of them, and put their own people as the people who created it.
right,
So that
right.
lets you know that we have something so valuable, guys. You know what I'm saying? And when we're talking about this intellectual property and we're talking about the history of things, you
And
guys have
now NFTs, and
in
now
that.
NFTs. You see what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying? So
Mhm. Go
if
ahead.
I'm going into that, Disco Daddy's got NFTs like a mug. I'm about to talk to this brother who has signed Raheem from Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, and it's the first black NFT agency. Okay, and I talked to him, but I told him I had to do your interview, so he's gonna call me back tonight. But Disco Daddy is going into the metaverse. You see what
Good.
I'm saying? And that's where most of your artists. This is the thing, you have to grow and constantly reinvent yourself in this business.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
did like you. I did interviews. I still do interviews. In fact, I'm launching, and I might as well get into what I'm doing in the future on June 26th, the launch of Disco Daddy's Wide World of Hip Hop and R&B on YouTube. My own YouTube channel with exclusive interviews of top name
Right.
stars in hip hop and R&B and upcoming young artists. Okay, as well
Well,
as news and
we'll
views.
be here for you to
Oh, you're gonna
advertise.
be on the
And,
show. You know that, Miss
we're
Toy.
trademarked over here, so we made sure that when we're able to do things on another level and grow our bag and our brand, we're able to bring in and partner up with some of you guys who are doing some things. You guys want to team up with the Lovely Radio Show, do an ad,
Wow. Yes. Yes.
your advertisement going every week, and let's just team up
We're
and
gonna talk.
okay.
We're gonna
Go
talk,
ahead,
Miss Toy.
finish.
Okay, because one thing about you, not only are you very talented and beautiful,
Thank
but
you.
you're a businesswoman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you handle your business. I'll be watching the moves and stuff you make, the
Thank you.
comments you make. If you don't handle your publishing, if you don't know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, you're on it. And I can respect you to the oomph,
Thank you.
okay, as a true black queen, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff and trying to survive a pandemic,
Hmm.
like we all are.
Yeah. That's why I had to put everything around me that I'm about. You know what I'm saying? I had to put my passion right in my face so I won't be distracted by outside, because
Okay,
outside have been distracting us for so long, and some of us are introverts and great talents anyway. So
right.
me being inside made me get on top of more of my business that I wasn't on top of before. So I'm
Mm,
kind of one of those people who need to be pushed away from something sometimes so I can focus. And
okay.
it also helps other people pay attention to what I need when they do come to me. Like, I need you to have your publishing. And because people ask me all the time. It was somebody in my DM a couple of days ago, because I know someone else, Dismos. I've been knowing him. Me and him work with DJ Bobcat. When I
Mm,
first, he had a production company, and we were some of his first artists before I
uh,
even did Burn or You Can Do It.
uh-huh.
So artist came and was just like, I need a verse from you and I need some hype stuff. I don't even know who this person is, and I don't do hype on
Right.
people's. I do business. You're gonna pay me for a
There you
feature,
go.
and then I'm gonna light that fucking track up, and then I'm gonna put it back with the stems
Show
and
filter.
everything. So it's a method to our madness, and
Mm.
we're thankful to have veterans. You know what I'm saying? You know, the first, you're a pioneer in this game, and I'm thankful that I met you in a way that I did. You know what I
Thank
mean? I was introduced and I was in the field. This most I just was talking about you. You know what I'm saying? One of your people thought that I was a hype girl, and they was like, "Yeah, I need to work for you." And then I said, "You know, he talking a lot up in my damn DM right now." I said, "But wait till I put this damn fee up in here." That boy ain't said nothing else. That boy said nothing else. I said, "Well, wait a minute. Let me get you under wrap right quick. 'Cause you blowing up my DM." But yeah,
No.
it's about the progress for us over here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We started off a certain way, and that doesn't mean we have to end that way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And the
Right.
progress that's been going on in the business is now, you know, artists, if you're not paying attention, really, you
Mhm.
know, they made it seem, you know, the labels made it seem like you just needed the labels to operate A, B, C, marketing,
Ha.
video, radio. You know what I'm saying? Look at we're doing radio right now. Disco
Mhm.
Daddy has the museum. You know what I'm saying? It's all
Mhm.
kind of different things that we have as artists that we can get together and work on as a team, as a unit. But you know, everybody want to be solo and try to figure
Right.
it out. So
Right.
that's why you see a lot of problems in this business because people don't want to, you know, you know, think about your expertise and think about what you're good at. And then
Mhm.
you work on that part, and then I'll do my part, what I'm good at. You know what I'm saying?
You have to allow people that you work with to do their best and what they're at, and you do your best. That's what the team is all about. You know, when somebody's not on the team, it simply means they're not thinking what's best for the group as a whole, or all of us advancing together. It's
Hmm.
on them. They're thinking about themselves, and that's
Yeah.
really not the way you're going to make it in this business because anything you do that's artistic. If you're a stage performer, you got to have makeup artists. You got to
Hmm.
have costumes. You got to have
Yep.
other people around you, songwriters, other people that have talents that
Yeah.
you are drawing on as an artist to make you whatever your persona, whatever image you decided to create. There are people that have to help you. Even the artists, like the people who do your graphics for you.
Yes.
That one graphic, I got so many
It's so
responses
dope.
from that. I just had to. I said the first question I'm gonna ask was Toys. Who did that?
Who
You know what
did
I'm
that?
saying? So right away, little things like that add to your panache. You know,
Yeah.
people see that you're
Yeah.
coming out with first class type of stuff. They know that this wasn't just slapped together. You see what I'm saying? You know,
Oh,
it's
they used to
well
talk
thought
smack
out.
about me. Just go there. They used to be like, "Oh, what Miss Toy rolling with security? She got a paparazzi taking pictures of her." Now everybody on the internet taking pictures of themselves. They got somebody filming. They got their camera on the side. They got a tripod. I think I was ahead of the game a little bit. You feel
There
me?
you go. There you
I'm
go.
just trying to
But
do what I need to do. I can't film myself, and sometimes I miss the moment because I'm usually in the moment. So
right.
I needed somebody to be around me to capture what I really am doing. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
my involvement in hip hop. I'm just not one to brag, or I'm not just one to
Right.
put everybody's business on blast. And I like for things to unfold before I even talk about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because people put that energy on it and they're like, "Oh no, I don't want her to do that. I don't want them people to get together." And then they put that negative vibe on
That
it. And
negative. Yeah. Yeah.
things don't happen the way you want to. So y'all see me pop out the bushes sometime with some great stuff because I have to, you know what I mean? And I had to keep a smile on my face while I'm doing it because at the same time, I am very blessed to have, you know, a whole coast, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, of support and artists who actually believe in themselves enough to be able to work together with me as a team. I just did a whole album, 420 album. Miss Toy presents the session. I had
Mm.
9 to 10 artists that I work with, and out of 9 to 10 of them, only one of them gave me a headache, and I'm cool because it ain't my
Okay. Yeah.
artist. You know what I'm saying?
You
But
always gonna get one. You
I'm
know.
always gonna get one, and I accept that. I accept that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I got in this business knowing that it's a challenge. And
Hmm.
as far as females, you know, they have male representation sometime working with them, and it like pulls people against, you know, the
Right.
grain because I need to talk to the woman. I don't need a
Okay.
man to come
Okay.
in and talk for you after we already met.
Okay.
We can do that together. You know what I'm saying? Like people need to, you know, speak up. Tell me you got a manager or tell me you have somebody who represents you
Right.
because then I have a different, you know, understanding of you. You know, everybody can't be me. You know, I'm a
Hmm.
little Chi-Town. I'm a little
Hmm.
Inglewood. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm not afraid to talk, you know, my talk. But
Hmm.
if you're a female and you afraid to talk your talk, by the time you get to me, you're gonna think I'm, you know, I'm a bitch and I'm, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna
I
kind of
got you.
feel some
I
kind of
got
way
you. Right.
against
Right.
me. But All I want you to do is stand on your square, because you have to watch out for people that are not like me. Somebody who gonna tell you the game, tell you about your
Mm-hmm.
publishing, tell you how to
Mm-hmm.
sign up to BMI, tell you on make a whole radio show so you can send your music in and get your streams and get your
Right.
money. I'm a different kind of a warrior. I don't play with people money. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't
Yeah.
like people to play with mine. So if we team up and I'm telling you, send in your music, this is the email where to do it at, and you know what I'm saying, calmly doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff. By the time you get to me and going in my DM and telling me you got to listen to this, that's not how I do shit. So
Mm-hmm.
when you meet that warrior and I tell you, listen, don't send this shit in here,
There
because I
you go.
already told you where to send the stuff. This is for
Mm-hmm.
artists. GOE@misstoymusic.com. That's for all y'all. That's for y'all. My
And let,
DM, that's personal. You know what I'm
let,
saying?
let me relate to you what just happened to me and Captain Rap.
So,
And I'm gonna put his name out there because this is exactly what you're talking about. We had a friend for 40 years. When me and Captain Rap released our record, he was a DJ up in San Bernardino. Brought us up there to do a show. We did a big show at the skating rink. Spent a day at his house doing little raps and stuff. And he called himself DJ Flash, white boy, first white rapper out here. And when me and Captain Rap left Rappers Rap, Duffy Hooks, he contacted Duffy Hooks, and him, Flash, and a few other, King MC, who's good people. King MC is good people. MC Frosty and a couple of others. They formed Dark Star. 40 years later, about 6 months ago, Captain Rap is checking out BMI and royalties, stuff like that. And lead DJ Flash Johnson, who was a friend for 40 years, had bought Macola Records. Okay. Lead DJ Flash Johnson went in and changed the publishing on every artist on Macola Records to his publishing company, people he had never met. He didn't know me and Captain Rap when we made Gigolo Rap. He put himself down as publishing 50%, changed the songwriting. We never even knew this dude, okay? And changed the songwriting to 50% him, 25% me and Captain Rap. And he did it for Gigolo Rap, Gigolo Groove, Gigolo Club Version, all the gigolos he could think of to cover the bases in case my record, which is also known as Gigolo Groove, but they changed it to Gigolo Rap. You know, there was one of the producers made that decision. But he covered all the bases. And when Captain Rap looked at each song, Gigolo Groove, he's got lead DJ Flash Johnson, 50%.
Whoa.
Captain Rap, Larry Glenn, Michael Calfani, 25% each. Had nothing to do with the record. He's about to be sued for $1 million.
You hear
Snoop
that,
Dogg
y'all?
owns Death Row Records. Disco Daddy's going to end up owning Macola Records when this is all over. But you got to watch out. Only people close to you can do this. Lead DJ Flash Johnson. Every artist, there's one that wants to kill him. Okay, I ain't going to say his name. But he was a friend of his too. You see what I'm saying? But that's what the business can get you into, to where you want to kill somebody. The royalties, if Captain Rap hadn't discovered that, me, when I die and Larry Glenn die, our royalties would be going to the estate of lead DJ Flash Johnson, who had nothing to do with our record, wasn't around at anything, his publishing company, nothing. Okay. And he did that to every artist. So I call a few of the artists of Macola. They're all aware of the situation. None of them has any money to sue. This is how people get away. If you don't have an entertainment attorney or a lawyer or have money to do that, you're sort of out there. You know, although now they've got some free avenues where if a lawyer sees you got some kind of, you know, get something like you make a case, you can get one. But I wanted to do that. And I appreciate your show. Every show I do, I put it on there. I hope he would sue me, because then he'd have to come to court to show that I'm wrong. But it's in BMI. We call BMI. And they said because he went into the system, that's how deep this is. Because he owned the record company, he went into the system and changed the royalty rates and the publishing. And he said, and they told us the only one who could change it back is lead DJ Flash Johnson. Ain't that a bitch? We can't even correct our own. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's also, so we got to sue him. We got to sue him unless he categorically goes in and changes everything. So, tell your people to watch out. Learn contracts.
learn
The other thing
contracts
that happened,
and that's too.
I don't
Let
mean
me
to
just
cut you off.
let me just tell them real quick
Okay.
because I played Burn. You know, y'all know I'm from the Militia. Burn. They had the first single, and then I did the remix when we was on Red Ant.
Mm-hmm.
We had all of that great success during the 90s. And then when the internet came through and I had Lovely Radio, I played that song for the first time and
Mm-hmm.
looked under the credits and saw that it was a Hispanic who actually registered the song now. So I
Wow.
will never play that song again, even though that's my voice on it. That's my
Right.
first deal, and that's certain things that happen, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But the people who were in charge, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
of the situation didn't take care of business either. And even Emmanuel Dean got treated, you know what I'm saying? They called him
Right.
pork chop, but he
Right.
got treated bad, you know what I'm saying? He did the
Well, yeah.
track.
Well,
He,
that happened. We had that moment too. Captain Rap and I would call the Motown while the record was out. We had used Motown songs. See, Motown never signed a rap act. They watched Sylvia Robinson and Enjoy Records and all those East Coast rap labels rise around them, and the music business was changing. Okay, these are
Mhm.
things that only you had to be there to seek to be able to relate them. So by giving me the rights to use Rick James music, they were saying, well, if the song is a hit, because if you look on the label, pull up the label Gigolo Rap, you see under Gigolo Rap it says Rick James as the writer.
Mhm.
I had to give up my writer's credits to get Rick to go ahead with the deal. So I legally, this was before sampling was even challenged or anything. I legally got the rights to use that record for Motown. But
Mhm.
when me and Captain Rap would call up to Motown, see, I had signed with Joey Jefferson because I figured, hell, if I make another record, no matter who produces it, it's a hit, I can get away from this. Well, okay.
Right?
But what happened was Motown wanted to sign us as Disco Daddy and Captain Rap. We were on the air in major market as Motown's first rap group. I took the contract I had with Joey up there, and we were talking to Jay Lasker, who at that time had become the president of Motown. We're sitting in the president of Motown. Berry Gordy's off producing movies. We're sitting in the president Jay Lasker's office, and he looks at the contract and he says, "You know, he's got you down for 7 consecutive options." I said, "What's an option?" It's 1981. Oh, 1981. And he says the option means that he can keep you under contract every year. One option is a year. He can keep you under, he's got you for 7 consecutive, he can keep you under contract for 7 consecutive years, even if you never record another thing with him. That's
Oh.
why when people ask why Disco Daddy only made one record and all this kind of stuff, that's the other thing. I couldn't afford entertainment attorney. I didn't know what the option was. I signed the
Mhm.
contract because I wanted to get in the studio and create. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? You can get caught like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop. The
Mhm.
contract itself don't have to mean a damn thing to benefit you. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Read it. Understand what little things like that. And Jay was he said, well, we could go ahead and do this anyway, but then Motown, I don't think we want to get into any legal squalor. When we told Joey Jefferson what was going to happen,
Mhm.
you'd have to pay him a phenomenal amount of money to let Disco Daddy go from this contract. You see what I'm saying? It would have been his ship coming in. Okay,
Yeah. Oh
he
yeah.
could have let go of his little dinky record shop. So all of that fell apart, and that's what led me into being depressed for a year, and then creating the world famous L.A. Breakers, which God took care of me because they became bigger than any of that.
That
But with
rap.
those two things, that's why I earned the title of the father of West Coast hip hop. I was doing things in the beginning just
Absolutely.
to make money and to have fun. And I'm a creative artist. But it
Mhm.
wasn't about trying to be first at this or any. I never really knew all of that until 1998. I'm reading Billboard and they did the history of rap article. And they mentioned Disco Daddy and Captain Rap was the first record on vinyl to get on the air. I didn't know that until then. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Then the internet comes along, 2003, 2004. And my kids, who were kids, they had been going on the internet. I said, Dad, don't you remember? I remember you taking us to shows, LA Breakers, and this. Didn't you create this? Said, yeah. Well, it's these people saying they did this and they did that. That's what made me start my Facebook page in 2009. It's the only
Mhm.
reason him and Tony Joseph, who was a friend of mine, he's deceased now, but Michael Mixon Moore taught Tony Joseph everything he knew. He went to KJLH, but he was a protege of Michael Mixon Moore, who was my dog, who I told you in the beginning would be no Disco Daddy without him invite me to 2 key shows. Magic Johnson's birthday party where I met Captain Rap, my
Yeah.
future partner, See what I'm saying? And then the Al Jarreau thing where I was able to start rapping. Celebrities got to know me before the general public because it was a celebrity club Al Jarreau had.
Mhm.
Okay, and my name got out there. So later on, doing Facebook and stuff like that, I was able to contact some of the people I had some history with, and
Mhm.
it started leading. When people, one thing about the internet, when people find out that you're real,
Mhm.
you see what I'm saying? You build
They
a
show
following
up.
simply because of that. I'm nothing special about Disco Daddy except that what I've done. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? You know, and everything I've done
that is
is real.
special.
And when you're in a pool of fake fish, a
Yeah.
real fish stands out.
Oh yeah. They gonna want
Okay,
you out of there. They want
right.
your real ass out of there.
That's it.
They gonna
So
put the
let's lead
tsunami
into
in there.
my future plans. Like I said, are the NFT, the disco, convert the valuable assets that I do have as on an NFT. I'm gonna talk to that brother in the morning about what assets. And he was reeling them off. I said, "Well, I got to do Miss Toy show. You got to call me back later on." But
Exactly.
I do have some assets would be worth millions of dollars. So you never know where your career is going to go. And all
Mhm.
you people out there, the young ones, don't give up. Don't
Don't
give
give
up if you know you got talent. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for some of the pitfalls you be hearing me and Miss Toy
that.
talk about, and some of
That's
the slime, with the slime balls that come out from out of the rocks when they
they do.
smell money. Okay,
Do.
and keep your eyes open and focused, and work your plan your work, and work your plan. That's from Joe Jackson from the Jacksons. Okay,
Man,
he used to tell them kids, and you see how they blew up.
you gotta
Plan your
say that
work,
one again. Yeah, go ahead.
plan your work, and work your plan. Okay.
Okay. And tell them everywhere they can find you. I know y'all
Okay,
gotta go to the
Disco Daddy, the new Disco Daddy YouTube channel will be on YouTube on the 26th. Disco Daddy's Wide World of Hip Hop and R&B,
okay.
with interviews, news. Michael Calfani on Facebook, Disco Daddy the First, or lowercase letters on Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on June 19th. I'll be performing a rare performance. I do them every now and then.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's nice when you don't have the pressure of having to make another record or anything. All I do is personal appearances. I am a lecturer at University of Southern California. I'm the
Okay.
only well-recognized expert on the very early days of West Coast hip hop,
Mm.
recognized by academia, and I
Yeah.
speak on that subject 6 times in 6 years at USC. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing that has stopped that is the pandemic. On June 19th, Father's Day is Juneteenth Day in Los Angeles, the
Happy
official
Father's Day.
Juneteenth celebration. Right. I'll be with Maxine Waters, who is also a mentor from 1992. I was a graduate of her Project Build, which is a leadership training program for Black men she created when she was an assemblywoman. Okay. So that's how far back. This was 1992. So I'll be awarding her, she doesn't even know this, a lifetime achievement and for dedication of service, a lifetime of service to the Black community at the Juneteenth celebration, June 19th. That'll be at 3 o'clock. I'll be performing at 12 noon. So you want to come out? It's at Manchester Park, Westchester Park, 7,000 Manchester Boulevard in Los Angeles. We got a whole group of other celebrities and people that are going to be performing. Holly Mitchell, county supervisor, and Maxine Waters, like I said. And just come out, bring your family. It'll be a family event celebrating Juneteenth and Father's Day on the same day this year.
Same day. Hey.
Okay.
Well,
And the
happy
only thing
Father's
I'm
Day,
writing a
everybody.
book.
Chat.
I'm writing a book, Whatever Happened to Disco Daddy. I've been writing it for 8 years. And the
Mm-hmm.
only reason it hasn't been published is that every year something happens that I gotta include in the book. You see what I'm saying? It's, I mean, monumental things that may not seem like now, but the thing I'm doing, I created the Shine Awards. That's the other thing. Shine Awards have been given from the Soul Train gang to celebrities, individuals. We did one for Greg Dulon, who owned Dulon's restaurant. And then on Mother's Day, we did Sweet Alice Harris. That
Oh,
lady was so happy. She's given from the heart for decades, and we were just
yes.
overjoyed to give to her. And it made the news. We were on the news. So my Shine Awards are going to be big, and they'll be also on the Disco Daddy YouTube channel. They'll be exclusively on there once that launches. But the next one we're doing, like I said, is Maxine Waters. After that, we're doing DJ Battle Cat, uh,
Mm-hmm.
DJ Chris the Glove Taylor, and then Jimmy Kimmel for ABC television.
Cool.
The Shine Awards. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel, I worked with him last year just before the pandemic. He puts his money into South Central LA and nobody knows about it. Bought shelters, bunches of them. for homeless families. Okay. And I was over there with him, helping him put them together, putting the furnishings inside. The man didn't even want no publicity. That's why I get the picture you see on there, me and him. He's thanking me for helping. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to give him a Shine Award for what he's done for the Black community.
Absolutely.
Again, reinvention. People like getting awards. If you're doing anything and you got to see Soul Train Gang, I'm lucky he has some weight. So when they getting it from the Soul Train Gang family, you see what I'm saying? They all grew up with Soul Train, and they're really honored that you're thinking enough about them, especially Miss Sweet Alice Harris. She was just so tickled pink. To see the joy on the face of a lady who's given from her heart for years.
Deserve it.
Really. So that's what Disco Daddy's doing. Trying to put shine on people with my Shine Awards, doing the NFT thing for my family, my grandkids and stuff to have some money when I'm gone. See what I'm saying? And an estate for them. And making personal appearances and teaching and working with creative people like Miss Toy on projects that we've not even yet envisioned.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is some great conversations, as well as tonight was awesome. And I appreciate you bringing the history to the Lovely Radio Show. This is type of stuff that, they don't get to talk about stuff like this.
Right.
It's too much going on in the world right now.
You had to have been there anyway to even know it.
And now y'all have archives, so y'all can send people when y'all get that false information about who started what and who did what back then, and y'all can go to the Lovely Radio Show every time.
The West Coast Hip Hop Museum. I created that concept. And what we're doing, the pandemic has slowed that down. What we're doing is we're not doing contributions. We're getting the city council to put it under their cultural affairs department and take a building that they already own out of the thousands of properties and renovate it for hundreds of thousands instead of building one for millions of dollars. All right. And that's what's going to happen. I have 2 city councilmen on board. The only thing that has slowed down the movement on that is the pandemic. Nobody wants to open a museum in the middle of a pandemic, but it will. I'll keep changing the year. Right now it's 2022. It'll be the West Coast Hip Hop Museum 2023, 2024 until the city council announces that they're taking under consideration the establishment of an official West Coast Hip Hop Museum. That's how that's going to play out.
Yep, sure is.
Okay.
Well,
at that time, once they make that announcement that they're considering it, then we can get the big guns, Snoop, Dre, all of them will come on board because they want to be in a museum, especially if the city council they see is behind it. Okay. So
let me tell you, you are the big gun. All right. You the one we brought over here because we love the legendary and the history, behind Disco Daddy. We appreciate you always being so kind to the queen. You know what I mean? I really enjoy having so much dialogue with you, especially during my process going through this business. You know what I mean? It's always good to talk to a gentleman. So thank you. We love having you on a Lovely Radio Show, and we'd love to have you back. So, we got some things to talk about. And if you would like to submit your music, or you have a business and you would like to submit your commercial to the Lovely Radio Show, send in your bio and your links to goe@misstoymusic.com. And of course, we'll be here every week, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Lovely Radio Show. It's your girl, Miss Toy, and Disco Daddy right here. And we'll see y'all soon.
Beautiful. God bless you, sister.
Same to you. Talk to you soon.
And thank you.
Peace.